The Druides, ab bello, ab esse. Okay, that ab explains the ab bello. To ab esse, ab bello. Perfect tense, right? And perfect, present perfect really means like it has happened with the result that it still is the case, right? It has a present impact. So the Druids have been consueranted, which takes a complementary infinitive, to ab esse, and this is a verb that causes separation, so then our ab bello here must be an ablative of separation. And for those who have been following along at home, you're wondering why previous ablatives of separation did not have an ah, and they were just a plain old ablative, and this one does have an ah. Just accept it. So the Druides have such that, have consueranted, but what he really means is they are consuerant to ab esse, ab bello. Eque. And ands connect like things even when they're and nots, so they consuerant, and they don't pendunt tributas una cum reliquis together. I think this is a una together with reliquis. Militiae, genitive, going with the noun next to it, vacationem, omnium que and, so it's a vacationem of militiae and of omnium rerunt. Habent. And then another object too, so it's like an object with some genitives and another object, and this is our verb. They have a vacationem of militiae and of omnium rerum. They have an immunitatem. So the ands are a little tricky, but they have a this of this, and of this, they have this. Tantis isn't going with excitati, must be going with primiis. And excitati here means excited, right? So it explains the ablatives, the ablative tantis primiis. Excited by tantis primiis, and sua sponte, another ablative, right? Connecting like things. Excited by primiis and by sua sponte. Multi people in disciplinam conveniunt. Conveniunt into the disciplinam. And are mituntered a parentibus, by their parentibuses, and by their propinquis. So a couple of ands, right? This and was connecting this verb and this verb. And this and was just connecting this noun and this noun. Ibi, magnum numerum genitive of versum, right? So this looks like an object, and that's a genitive, just going with it. A discere dicuntur. They are said to a discere, a magnum numerum of versum. So this verb takes a complementary infinitive. It's eque. And so, years in the accusative case must be an accusative of extent of time. How many annos? Weekenos. And non nulli right in the middle. We saw non numquam, not never. This is non nulli, not none. So it's like some. And so, for some accusative extent of time, for some weekenos annos, in the disciplina, they permanent. Compound of maneo, right? Neque, and they don't existimant. They don't think. Existimant, compound of istimo, which gives us words like estimate, but this is like ex-estimate. Nice little compound. And they don't existimant. Fos esse, indirect statement, that it is fos. So this is an indirect statement. Ind stat. There's an I in there. And fos esse, so they don't existimant, that it is fos, that it is right, that it is good, explains this other infinitive here. That it is right to do what? To mandare ea, it's our accusative, our neuter plural, to mandare these things, to literis. Cum, not followed by an ablative. Sorry, I need to go all the way to a verb. I don't know why I bothered to put that there. Cum in reliquis fere rebus, publicis privatisque rationibus, Graecis literis utanter. So cum through a subjunctive verb here, cum through utanter, present subjunctive. So and they don't think that it is fas, and they think that it is not fas to mandare these things to literis. The cum here would be weird if we translated it as when, and since it's subjunctive, it's unlikely to be when. Our other options are since or although. So we're going to try, if we were figuring out how to translate this, we would try both of those translations. So I'll just go alphabetically here. Although, in, and we said that adverbs can go with adjectives, so it will, in fere reliquis rebus. And it's almost like there's like an all missing. In like almost all reliquis rebus, publicis privatisque, right? Rebus, both publicis and privatis. They're describing rebus, so they're still ablative. Both publicis and privatis. This is a new noun in the ablative case. I'm taking the publicis and privatis with the rebus. That makes the most sense. This new noun in the ablative case. No, I lied. It's not. Although, in nearly reliquis rebus, this que actually tells me that the privatis, I should have paid attention, that the privatis is going with the que brings the word to the word after it. It connects to what's coming up. So it's often, not always, but so, and I'm just going to take all of them with that. In publicis and privatis rationibus. So I could say both in public and private rationibuses, or I could say in public and I don't have to say both and. Anyway, I've accounted for these ablatives. So the privatis told me that the que told me privatis is actually describing rationibus, and then I'm going to take publicis with privatis because they almost always go together. In publicis and privatis rationibus, new noun in the ablative case, Graecis literis, right? New noun, new thing, right? Unless there's an and, new noun is doing a new thing. I'm like, why is this ablative? Utor takes an ablative direct object because it's a puffy verb. So they utanter Graecis literis. So to back this up, I tried although. They think that it's not fas to mandare these things to literis, although in everything else they utanter Graecis literis. So although worked for me. That made good sense. Okay, so they don't wanna mandare some things to literis, like even though in other things they do utanter literis. And it's interesting that they utanter Graecis literis. Anyway, moving on. Id mihi, Caesar referring to himself with a mihi here. So id is either the subject or the direct object. I don't know if it's nominative or accusative yet, but mihi to me. Duabus de causis. Oftentimes the preposition is thrown into the middle of its phrase instead of at the beginning, but duabus definitely goes with causis, so I got de duabus causis. Very normal wording here. Duabus de causis. Instituisse. Like, ooh, that's an infinitive. And so I have what was possibly an accusative and what is definitely an infinitive. And then a verb that makes it all make sense. They seem, remember that the passive of to see could be they are seen, but it can mean they seem. They seem to me to have instituissed id de duabus causis. Quod, neque in vulgum, accusative case, new noun in the accusative case, doing something else, disciplinam efferi wellent, and then I'll do this neque before I do the other neque, but just to look at the structure. Neque eos qui discunt literis confisus minus memoria studere. Okay. Alright. They seem to have instituted this, instituted this for duobus causes. Here's one of them. Because neither do they neither do they want the disciplinam, and then it's explaining this infinitive, to be efferid in vulgum as a prepositional phrase. Because neither do they want it to be efferid into the vulgum, nor something about eos qui discunt, that they are the object of something. Eos qui discunt are the object. Literis, okay, that's a different case, a different noun. Confisos, looks like it's going with eos, so still part of my object. Those guys, having confisost, and its meaning really begs an ablative, having confisost in literis. Yeah. Looking back at my structure, I had a neither do they want this, nor do they want those who, having confisost in, those who discunt, having confisost in literis, to studere minus memoriae. To be enthusiastic, and actually it takes a genitive. You can be enthusiastic for an objective genitive. To studere for memoriae, less. Okay? So looking back at the structure of this, they do this for two reasons. Because neque, infinitive wellent, neque, and all I had was an infinitive. So I took the wellent again. Sorry, I should have explained that better. Neither do they wellent the disciplinam to be efferid, nor do they want eos to studere. Okay, that's the structure. Quod fere plerisque accidit. Just a regular quote here. Because it happens to fere pleris, to nearly most. It happens to a dative, right? It happens to nearly most. Ut, all the way to a subjunctive verb. That praesidio literarum that with the praesidio of literarum, they remittant, that's my verb, this was my object, they remittant their diligentiam in perdiscendo, and they remittant their memoriam perdiscendo. That's all by itself, not going with anything else. Little gerund. In premis, like first of all, in the first things understood, since premis doesn't have a noun it's going with, it's just first things, they want to persuadere this. They want to encourage or persuade this thing. What thing? If you want to persuade something with an accusative and an infinitive, this is an indirect statement. They want to convince people that animos don't interire. But instead, what do animos do? Right? They transire ab aliis post mortem ad alios. So just several prepositional verbs. Ab aliis post mortem ad alios. They transire. Religious beliefs here. And hoc maxime ad virtutem excitare putant metu mortis neglecto. And with this, by means of this, greatly